It's September 2024, and just 2 months ago, Microsoft shut down the Xbox 360 marketplace. So I'm here to tell you that now is the perfect time to start playing on Xbox 360. So this video initially started out as a plan to repurpose an Xbox 360 as an emulating console. I didn't want to have to hardware hack it, and I wanted to basically use dev mode, which allows you to upload unsigned applications to your Xbox and run them. Perfect for running emulators. However, I very quickly realised that that's no longer possible because Microsoft has shut down the Xbox 360 marketplace, and the first step to enabling dev mode is downloading an app from the marketplace. So, while if you have a pre-existing Microsoft account that has previously downloaded that specific app, you will be able to re-download it and still do that. Kind of pointless for this video to show new people how to do that, because they won't be able to do that. Which got me thinking, what's the point? What's the point? Should I bother with an Xbox 360 anymore? Are they now just trash? And that led me down a path to do some research to find out, well, what does the marketplace shutdown actually mean? And I was pleasantly surprised to find out that not a huge much. It means you can no longer go on the marketplace and buy and download new games or applications. That's all it means. If you've got an account that previously bought games, you can still download those. If you've got an account that's previously downloaded anything, you still can access that content. So what about if you don't? What about if you are brand new? Is getting an Xbox 360 worthwhile? Well, Xbox 360 is in a really great place at the moment. It's not old enough yet that it's not being considered retro. People aren't interested in the Xbox 360 yet, and that is why I really believe that now is the time that you should start playing on Xbox 360 and start collecting games. They are available for next to nothing at all. I managed to pick up a Xbox, bunch of games, a controller, plugs and everything from a car boot for £30. I picked up this Xbox 360S for £10. It didn't come with controller or plugs, but I was able to buy a new plug online and obviously just use any Xbox 360 controller. With a bit of a clean up, this is working really nicely. So again, for all in about £30, I was able to get a full working console. And that's kind of one of the cool things about this generation of console. There are lots of iterations. There are lots of versions. There are lots of hardware out there. So the chances of you being able to find one in pretty good condition that's fully working, fully playable, is incredibly high. Another really great point that kind of puts this at a good stage is that, yes, the marketplace is closed down, but you don't need the marketplace. You can pick up physical media still for this console. This is still an era where, yes, the marketplace existed, but physical media was still king. So there are massive amounts of games on disc, and you don't need to install them to a hard drive to be able to play them, unlike newer versions of the console. These play off the disc, so you don't need a big hard drive. You don't need to worry about that. You can use a pen drive even just for your save data if you find that the hard drive in your Xbox no longer functions, which is quite possible. It's only a nice to have, it's not a requirement, especially as you can't download new games anyway, so you have to use the physical media. And then another thing that was really surprising for me was the fact that Xbox Live still works. Multiplayer servers are still up. I've been playing a load of Modern Warfare 2 online against other people. They're still running, and that's crazy to me. This is with a brand new account. I set up a new Microsoft account. I did then have to go online and buy Game Pass Core, which is what Xbox Gold used to be. but that included Xbox Live. So for £6 a month, I enabled Xbox Live on that account. I was able to sign into that account on my Xbox 360, and I was able to play online games against other people. Now, there was a bit of a weirdity in that it wasn't instant. I signed into the account and it didn't initially recognize that I had Xbox Live, so it would throw up an error saying this profile isn't enabled for Xbox Live. But I just kind of left it over the weekend, came back to it on Monday morning, and it was working. So some oddities there, and yes, you can't really do it from the console itself anymore. That doesn't really work. You can't buy Xbox Live because there's no marketplace. But if you go onto the Xbox website and you sign up for an account there and you buy the Game Pass core, it does work. I have tested it with a new account, which is really cool. So not only can you pick up games at next to nothing, but you can still play multiplayer online with other people. It is in such a weird but amazingly fun place between generations, where, you know, the old retro PS2, Xbox original, but older, where it can be quite an isolating experience because really you've just got yourself. Whereas this still has online access. It's crazy to me. The other great thing, of course, is this is kind of one of the last generations of console that have proper split screen. So if you're having a party and you want to have some friends over to play some games, this is still such a great option to be able to play actual multiplayer split screen up to 4 players at once in such a great way. To play things like COD and other kind of racing games and other kind of multiplayer games locally, you can still do that. And the great thing is, even when it comes to a point where the live servers do get turned off, which I presume will happen eventually, and that matchmaking functionality goes away, even if that happens, you can still play local multiplayer with split screen. You can't do on more modern versions of the Xbox. I had no end of issues with the fact that I wanted to be able to play a COD split screen locally on my Xbox Series X. It just wasn't a thing. So frustrating. So this is such a great console to have around if you plan to have people over or you have groups of people that you want to play games with. It's also really great for kids if you want a console that has to stay in the living room and you can keep an eye on them. It has limited online capabilities. It doesn't require online capabilities, so you can quite happily play this thing offline. It has a huge catalogue of games, many of which are child friendly, not all of them, but many of which are. It's a really good option for a kind of home console for the family to use, and it's still completely usable today. Of course, the fact as well, the biggest fact being that it still works online. I can't believe it. It's amazing. So I picked up a load of games and I've been playing through some of those during this video. And suffice to say, I will be going on and playing a hell of a lot more because there is such a catalogue of games to enjoy. And now is the time to be doing this. I strongly, strongly advise you to pick up an Xbox 360 while you can and to get a backlog of games going, because eventually that will change. The Xbox 360 will become retro, it will become expensive, and it will become hard to find. So pick it up while you can, save it, put it away for a while if you don't want to play the games now, but I really recommend picking one up. And that's kind of the point of this video today. I just wanted to kind of express my pleasure really in finding out that actually you can still play games online and that hasn't shut down. It is just that the marketplace itself has shut down, and it's still a completely usable console even if you've never had an Xbox account before and you need to go through the setup process. So I'm really impressed, and I think huge props has to be given to Microsoft for keeping something alive that essentially has been around now for well over 15 years. It's still entirely usable, and in part that is obviously drawn by the fact that there were a lot of different iterations from the original Xbox 360 through to the Xbox 360e. There have been huge amounts of hardware revisions, upgrades, and it's really kept that generation of console alive. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, a bit different, but what started out as going to be a bit of a tutorial is changed completely, and I'm not mad about it. I'm really glad to see that this is something that you can still use.